What's up, guys? Welcome back to Game 33, and we're going to be talking about Attack on Titan Manga Chapter 102 analysis. So, if you guys have not read the chapter yet, I don't even know why you even clicked here. All we're talking about is recent content. So, we're going to be doing analysis of things that we think that are the most crucial points in this chapter, and for also future predictions as well. So, let's get down to it. So, the first thing we're going to be talking about is the Beast Titan. What is Zeke's motive? Like in two chapters ago, we seen him walking away from the battlefield. Not the battlefield, walking away from the whole festival, the announcement that they was having the entire time. And that was the last time we saw him. And now, at the end of Manga Chapter 102 of Attack on Titan, we see him reappear as the Beast Titan. We're just like, dude, make up your fucking mind. Like, what is your...
Which side are you on? Like,
exactly.
Like the chapters up until this point has led us to believe that Zeke's been on not been on, but it could be like cooperation between him and the Levi squad. So just because of like the little Easter eggs and hints that the creator's been dropping in the manga chapters, like Eren having the baseball glove and baseball like Zeke had in earlier chapters. So, and it was just like weird how he led Pete and the Jaws Titan like basically to their doom. So I don't know. It's just like a lot of like weird motives that Zeke could have for this chapter. So.
And the fact that he's a genius, so like it's a whole lot of people who won't be able to find out what he's really thinking. Well, at least in my understanding. So the first speculation that me and Hagen thought of was, what if Zeke is, of course, like he just said, right now kind of like is playing a role, acting like he's on Marley's side, and then later on during the battle or in the middle of the battle, what if he's like, okay, fuck this, let's just go ahead and like kill the cart Titan, and everybody's like, wait, what? Like picks him up and like squeezes Pete's face in or something like that. Personally, I wouldn't be that surprised, but Isayama has been doing a great job ever since he started Attack on Titan of like making us say fuck whatever we thought. This is what we're doing here. Like giving us a reverse.
I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if they just started having like an all-out battle royale, like just each side going against each other, and like Zeke plays it out to the end. That's when we truly see his motives. That's how I feel like it's gonna go, because it's just like a lot of questions surrounding that. Just like, why was he walking away when all this shit was going down? Like looking suspicious as hell, and just like, how did Eren and them infiltrate this well and know all these basically everything about Marley when they were there? So it's just like you would have to have someone on the inside giving you intel like that. And then earlier he gave was it Falco a letter saying like, this is for my family, and people speculated that letter was actually to Zeke instead of like Mikasa and like Levi and them, like the Levi squad.
Right. And another reason why we think that Zeke definitely has ulterior motive is that before the ceremony even started, why did he lead the cart Titan and the jaw Titan into a pitfall trap, basically? What was the purpose of that? Like, and the thing is, one of the soldiers had to be someone from Paradise Island, because even Pete said it. I think I saw him before, and the only time Pete really saw anybody from Paradise Island is when she was there with the Zeke. So it must have been someone on the battlefield or someone that was remotely, related to the battlefield at the time. So that had to be somebody from the Paradise Island.
And I find it hard to believe that if Pete said something like that with Zeke's intelligence, that he didn't even glance at the guy and like try to remember his face. Like, you know what I mean? Like, with Zeke's intelligence, he would at least be like, let me just look and see what she's talking about. Like, instantly knows who that is.
Right.
So he must have known. Like, he had to have known the plan, but it's just weird how he's now on the side of Marley yet again.
Yeah, exactly. And wouldn't it be some shit? This is what I personally going to think. What if what Zeke said at the end of the chapter 102, when he said, "Don't let them escape, annihilate them"? What if he's really talking about the soldiers of Paradise Island? I'm not going to lie, that shit would be so funny.
Just flip on them as soon as this shit gets started. Jaw Titan gets in the headlock and it was like, oh shit.
Personally, that's not like really realistic, but it would be kind of cool and kind of funny.
It'd be really just out of left field. I won't say
that. Smart. I see what you did there. Out of field, Zeke baseball. And so, as far as Zeke's go, it's not really too much one can really say about what his motives are, because Attack on Titan's already hard enough as it is to predict. I don't think it's even predictable.
Yeah,
I really don't think Like maybe 1% of the population who watches Attack on Titan is able to actually predict accurately, but it's extremely rare for this case.
First of all, no one knew what the Warhammer Titan ability was going to be like. It's just, I did not expect this. This shit.
The Hawk thought
she really pulled out a crossbow in the middle of the fight.
So, and a whiplash.
Yeah, and a bullwhip. Like what?
So on to the next. So what the hell is up with Hanji and Armin? We have yet to see these two, who are really crucial characters of the forces of the Scout Regiment. Like, where are they? What are they up to? And what's up with those lights that Connie, Sasha, and John were all talking about while they were, like, you know, clearing out enemy forces throughout the streets of Marley? Like, what could those possibly be? And what I personally think it might be is, what if, like, you know how in the airports they have the lights on the actual strip for like nighttime for like aircraft to like land? What if something like that? What if Hanji and Armin are aboard an enemy blimp or plane and are planning to hijack it and use a colossal dive technique type deal, kind of like what Berto did in the Return to Shiganshina when he was in a barrel being thrown by the Beast Titan? So if that's the case, then when is it going to happen? How are they going to do it? And next off, will Server Core be able to get out of the blast zone? Because that thing is fucking at least a half a mile if they drop from like a couple of miles in the air, which I don't think it'll be a few miles in the air, but it's going to be a nuke times like 5.
I mean, what I think is, I don't know. We were talking about this earlier. That like maybe they were on the ships that the guy mentioned earlier, or like not on the ship specifically, but about to take care of the ships, because that is also a big deal. Because even if like all this shit plays out, they're still surrounded, so they could have already planned for that. Like Hanji and Armin could be like either at the port or like at the edge of the island, and then those were like the signals to like whenever they finish there to come and assist or something like that. Or like you said, the like just dropping Armin like on the whole battlefield. That's also a very plausible one too, because that's, I don't know, that's going to be devastating. I don't see how like anyone besides like a Titan survives that. So
yeah, pretty much. And even Titans, that's even questionable. Like Titans is regeneration capabilities is OP, but like, you know, there has to be a limit to everything, right? There's a limit to how many times you can Titanize. So I don't see really. Well, I guess there's somewhat of a limit to how much you can regenerate at once, as far as like being able to actually function properly. Because when Eren had his hands chopped off, his body was completely, in season 2, of course, his body was completely had his hands full, you know, trying to like regenerate, and that's another reason why one cannot Titanize. But yeah, like, is it a plane or a blimp or something, or what if the lights are just plain old plain old signals that say that, yo, this entire region has been cleared out. Like, you know, you guys don't have to worry about enemy forces, but that also doesn't make sense as well, because what if they clear out enemy forces right then and there, but then the 30,000 troops that are outside on the coast of Marley come flooding in? Like, that'll kind of be defeating the purpose then. So I'm really hoping that it's this whole plane/blimp idea. I think that would be pretty dope, considering how much technology has grown.
Yeah, I think it'd be dope just for the fact that it's like a taste of your own medicine too. So it's like, yeah, you bombed us. Because basically, like, they're just doing the full reverse of like Paradise Island, like on right now. Like, they're just like, they're basically like the first wall breach is what's going on right now, just like times 20. So I wouldn't put it past them. Like, that's also like a more plausible idea. I was just throwing that ship idea out there.
And for another idea that we have, I think this would be like the third out of the 4 ideas that we have about what's going to happen next, is what is up with Gabby? Like, we all understand that she's kind of like a female version of Eren to an extent, but like, why? Like, I understand why she want to kill Eren, but like, what could she possibly do in the middle of this? What could she possibly do in the middle of this war with no power, with no really like real threat of a weapon besides a little shotgun or whatever the fuck you call it,
musket.
Yeah, a little musket. Like, what is she like planning to do? What I personally think is, knowing Attack on Titan, anytime anything is going good, it always turns to shit a second later. And so I was thinking, what if like Eren's put in an extremely bad predicament, or Levi or Mikasa, someone, well, exclusively Eren, since that's who her target is. What if he's pushed to the point where he's in his human form, like taking like pretty considerable damage and is unable to Titanize for the time being? And during that time, we see, like, you know, maybe he's off on his own trying to heal somewhere. And what if you see Gabby point the musket like right to his face. He's like, Eren Yeager, I'm here to kill you, or some shit like that. Like, what if that happens? Like, what would happen? What would happen next? Basically, like, it's a question upon a question upon a question upon a question. But as far as that goes, I think that might be the most unfortunate but most logical way to go about it. I have another idea too, but Hagen, do you think this might be the case, or do you have an idea of your own?
I mean, I definitely think that's like a great prediction, because I mean, she's going to the battlefield, so she's about to shoot some shit. Can't even get it out. Shoot some shit. Damn, that sound like Pito. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like if anything, she's gonna shoot like one crucial Survey Corps member probably. So that could also, like, imagine her shooting Mikasa. Like, that could be,
ooh,
yeah.
Will we see an
like
older version of Rage Eren?
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
I don't know. It's gonna be very bad if Eren goes back to Berserker Eren.
And what if, even though Attack on Titan really isn't known too much for this, what if Gabby goes to the battlefield? And we already saw how Sasha was reluctant to shooting her, like, you know, an innocent kid. What if the rest of the members of the Survey Corps are, like, besides Levi, of course, or Mikasa, what if they're both, like, kind of reluctant to, like, well, what if they're not there at the battlefield? And what if Gabby shows up in the middle of the battlefield and they're like, no one really wants to kill her? And of course, the soldiers, the warriors of Marley don't want to kill her as well, like, maybe to a certain extent. But when she's like, yo, Eren, like, why are you doing this? Like, I'm here to kill you, yada, yada, yada. And, like, you know, what's the point in all of this? And, you know, as far as we've seen, Eren is a complete G right now. So he really looks like he does not give a fuck about anything or who he kills. And what if he just gives her that Saitama look, like, okay, like, like, y'all did it to us, why not we do it to y'all? Or, like, to put an end to this, or yada, yada, yada. What if they have, like, a whole, like, monologue of their ideologies? Personally, even though it's not the most flavorful taste, when it comes to Attack on Titan, their philosophies are pretty deep. And they kind of, if you think about it a certain way, they can be applied to real-world scenarios as well. So what if they had, like, a whole philosophical, like, you know, monologue going on about the two ideologies on what should happen, what's right, what's wrong, who's the enemy, like, you know, what's the target is, and blah, blah, blah. So that's also another, like, you know, predicament I think that could arise as well. Either way, I would be more satisfied, but of course, preferably, I'd rather the first thing I talked about. And so for our last topic or discussion analysis is, why was Eren about to eat the Warhammer Titan? Of course, that might sound like a dumb question, but if you think about it a little more, it kind of raises some questions. Like, of course, they're there to annihilate the enemy. But if Eren is eating a Warhammer Titan, then wouldn't it be safe to assume that he might try to consume the other Titan abilities as well? And if so, what is he planning to do with that power? And, like, you know, as far as, like, the Paradise Island's goals, as far as, like, you know, why are they there in Marley? Of course, to wage war, but if they collect the Titan powers as well, of course, like, you know, why? What do you think, Hagen?
I don't know. This one's a pretty interesting one, just because I just want to know, what is their end goal for collecting, like, all the Titan powers? Obviously, you don't want your enemy to have the Titan powers, but, like, what, like, specifically, why does Eren want the Warhammer Titan ability? And just what are they going to do after this? Because this raises a whole question, like, of, are they just going to continue to wage war on the world, basically? So, I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting to see that Eren, like, immediately about to eat her ass. So, like, what's going to happen with Armin? That's another question. If he's really trying to get all the abilities, is Armin going to be able to keep his Colossal Titan ability, or does Armin get the abilities of Eren? Or, I mean, what do you think?
Personally, if they go that route, as far as, like, collecting all 9 Titan shifter abilities, I would think that one thing, it depends on what they're using it for. If they're using it for, like, an end game, like, to get rid of the shit all at once, I'm afraid that Eren and Armin are going to come to an agreement, or they might fight. I don't know, that's kind of, like, going out of the way there, but if that's the case, then if the need for an end goal, then I believe that Armin would be like, if it's for the better of humanity. Of course, Armin is down to late his life, we've already seen before. Yeah. So he might have to, like, you know, eat his own best friend to put an end to all this, and, like, you know, kind of do this for Armin. Or maybe, even in a different scenario, depending on how they use it, Armin can keep his Titan shifter ability, and they find some way to, like, find the source of all organic material, kind of like what was mentioned in Grisha Yeager's journals, and maybe they're going to find that source, and together with Eren's 8 fucking Titan shifter abilities and Armin's Colossal Titan ability, unless they split it up somehow, they will, like, you know, tackle this together. And I don't know, change the world some way. I don't know. It's extremely. We're talking about the end of Attack on Titan here, so.
I remember. I can't remember if it was like you or just someone else. Someone like was watching or something, but it was like someone mentioned the point that Armin is narrating Attack on Titan, so that may give a clue to like who survives in the end. I mean, not really, but at the same time, like if you listen to the voice, the Armin that's narrating does kind of sound a little older, so it's possible that he might be the last Titan shifter. Well, not last Titan shifter, but
the one to inherit it all.
One to inherit all the powers. So I wouldn't. I mean, I could not see it. So definitely an option out there.
Yeah, Armin is definitely the narrator for Attack on Titan, like prologues and yada yada. So that's also like really. That's more towards the end of Attack on Titan. We all know that that's impossible to really like predict. So
yeah.
So. And as far as back to the subject at hand with the powers of the 9 Titans, what if, this is a stretch now, just try to follow with me here, what if Eren somehow attains all 9 Titan shifter abilities and is able to, find the source of all organic material, blah, 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 and venture out to different continents because they find out, like, of course, the Eldians are the enemies of the world. The other continents know about them and treat them with disrespect and blah, 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 kind of like how in the Nazi days, how they did the Jews. But what if, if this was an extension of Attack on Titan, like they wanted to make it a little longer, what if Eren and the rest of the Survey Corps go around the world, eliminating potential threats that are for Paradise Island? In which case, it would be kind of a dope concept, but at the same time, it might make Paradise Island start looking more like the bad guy. But of course, who's to tell you? Who's to say what's right and wrong in a world like this?
Yeah.
In a sense.
Everyone has right and wrong to what their situation is. Like, obviously, Eren is a bad guy to the Marlians and the innocent Paradise. Well, not Paradise, but innocent Eldians that are already there. But I mean, this point is just you just gotta fight for your side.
Yeah,
so,
basically survival.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, so what if they go around the world, eliminating potential threats, and as they're going around the world, they, go to, this random continent or whatever, and they actually find...
the secrets.
Yeah, find the secrets to everything, the birth of Ackerman's law. What if they find the birth of the Ackerman clan? The first place where they first originated from. Or what if they find, some kind of laboratory where Ackermans were experimenting on with Titan technology?
I can't imagine a full clan of Ackermans. That would just be scary.
That's another thing too. They can find Ackermans throughout the rest of the world as it is, even though they're almost extinct. They're extremely rare. What if they find one or two others? Kind of like with Kenny. We didn't know about Kenny's existence. He was brought underneath the ground.
Yeah, exactly. He was there the entire time. Exactly. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility that there are more Ackermans somewhere around the world. Actually, I would bet on it more than likely. There's maybe at least a group of highly skilled Ackermans or something like that that's still alive.
Yeah, that would definitely be really, really a question. What if for some way the Ackermans join up with the rest of the troops from Paradise Island and they find the birthplace of Ymir maybe, or they find the source of all organic material and they collect it, or they fight it, or they destroy it, or something like that. Well, that's just see. This is all speculation from this Eren attempting to eat the Warhammer Titan. So there's so many long drawn out explanations that be drawn from this, but that's just the one that just first came up to the top of my mind. What are you, Hagen?
Yeah, I basically agree with you. Nothing really else to add there.
Oh, okay then. Well, as far as analysis, that's all we have so far. Like the video if you liked it, comment, subscribe, share, and we will be back with you guys with next month or maybe sooner with different content from anime or gaming with the rest of our channel. But as far as that, we are about to close this out. So Decipher is out, and Hagen, you got anything else?
Well, just if you guys have any speculations or put it down in the comments. Anything that you guys have thought of that could be it could change our whole opinion of what we were thinking too. So any speculation that you guys have yourself, just put in the comments and we can get a discussion going on it.
Alright then, peace out, and this is Anime Gang 33.
Peace.